This time they'll bring the power I to the wide side of the field to the right on 2nd and 9.5, 2nd and 10 really. And Hadley wants to throw a little dump pass, intercepted by Ruers. Touchdown Mustangs.
Boy, you talk about being in the right place at the right time. Mark Ruers was right there. He made the move. Everything was timed just perfectly from his side of the field. Obviously not from the Battle Creek Central side of the field. Came right into his arms, and there wasn't anybody anywhere near him.
To take nothing away from Ruers, who made a great play.
Boy, he sure did.
The ball never should have been thrown.
Boy, that's right. When you see all of those colors coming, and all those blue colors, in this case, coming right that way, that you're right, the ball should have never been. He should have eaten it or waited. Let Mark go all the way on through, and then maybe make that pass, or just keep the ball, turn up, and let's go 3rd down and do something.
Jim Brayton drills the extra point as Portage Central is going to put this one away if it wasn't already. It's 27-0 Mustangs. But Mark Ruers, a senior, playing his last home football game, maybe made the play of his career as he read that little dump-off pass all the way, stepped in front, picked it off, and went 25 yards for the score.
Boy, you think about excitement, Joe. That's a defensive end. He's usually out there hitting, got 3 or 4 people hitting on him, all kinds of other action. Maybe he'll get a batted pass, bat a ball down, or make the big sack. But to intercept the ball and then see nothing but green all the way to the end zone on your last high school game, that's got to be super.
And he's got a great number 15. A lot of very talented ball players have worn that number for the Mustangs. If you go back as far as Brad Gebbin, who played here.
And then at Central Michigan.
And then at Michigan State.
Oh, that was Michigan State.
His brother
at Central
played.
Michigan.
But, yeah, Brad wore number 15, and Cooper, a quarterback, wore number 15. And in between, I wore number 15.
Hey, and that was on the big team. That team went all the way to the Silver Dome. You guys were all great then.
Vine drills it down the field, and it's picked off again by Robinson. He'll try and go return left, and he'll be driven out of bounds just shy of the 30.
Mike Harity on that big hit over there. Mike's another one of those running backs. He's a heck of a running back. Coach Knight talked real high on him early in the season. Hasn't had a whole lot of time to showcase himself this year because of all the other ball players that are in there, the senior running backs, and Shane Springman and Kevin Letcher and some of the other boys that are juniors. But we're going to hear a lot more about Harity, too, before his career's over.
And I imagine shortly we're going to start to see a lot of different players out on the field for the Mustangs with a 27-0 lead, and this being the last home football game. I'm sure Coach Knight wants to give everybody a chance to play, as we've got an official timeout on the field. No timeout. Now they're going to crank up the clock. 6:44 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Mustangs is comfortably ahead, 27-0. And the Bearcats out of the power I. Hadley on the pitch to Miller, trying to get the corner. Martin with a super tackle, drops him for a gain of 2.
We've got to think that there are people on every play in the defense, whether they're in the backfield, the linebackers, or whatnot, that are just watching Miller. Let's just keep an eye on that young man and make sure that we come up, and he's going to get the ball now. They can't afford to stay in that power I. They've got to widen things out, open things up. They've got to score an awful lot in a short period of time. And if they're going to run the ball, they're going to give it to Miller, the big guy.
You got to wonder too how much longer they're going to be content to keep the ball on the ground. And I know they got burned on the last pass, but I think they'd have to start putting it up. Hadley on the quarterback option keeps it. He's across the 40, and he has the first down easily. Eaton over there for the Mustangs. Holderman, Roberts, Kopp, all in on that stop. As Hadley made a nice read, did not pitch the ball, kept it upfield when he found the seam, and picked up 12 or 15 yards, plenty for the first down.
Well, you can see his angle on the whole. Once he made that fake into the line, his angle was upfield. He was making yardage the whole way before he finally made his initial or his final read in order to turn completely upfield. He was still gaining yards the whole way.
One of those substitutions I was talking about, Kevin Letcher in for Darren Canerva at right defensive end. And the pitch this time to Miller, and Martin is right there again. Also Doug Roberts sliding down from his defensive tackle position, and they'll stop Miller for a loss of 1.5 or 2.
You think Coach Knight's just told Terry Miller just to go and find the other Miller on the other side and just get in his hip pocket the whole game?
Now, Martin's certainly playing himself a very good game for the Mustangs. He's a junior. He'll be back again next year in that defensive secondary. But he comes up very well on the run. Good, sure tackler. There's the pass, and guess who? Eric Munson will wrap him up along with Kevin Letcher, the man that just came into the ball game.
Munson had to be by that center just about the time the ball was snapped. He was right into the background, or backfield. I'm sorry, the background. He was in the foreground on that whole play, and just making a mess of the whole play, and the quarterback didn't have a chance.
Well, Hadley, once he made the fake, looked up, and Munson was all over him. Didn't have a chance to throw the football. Munson, I think, John's a transfer student this year from Mattawan.
That's right, he is, and a heck of a student. He's in there. You can see him all during the week. He's in at 6:15 in the morning lifting weights, along with Nick Roush and a couple other guys. Aaron Hinklin.
Another transfer student, as this one's going to be, I thought picked off by Kopp, but he jumped a little bit too soon. The intended receiver was Mark Spivey. And Hadley is still on the ground as he got buried by the defensive pressure of the Mustangs.
He took another shot from Eric Munson, who we were just talking about, the transfer from Mattawan. Just as he released the ball, Eric was right in his face. A great hit. It's too bad when anytime you see somebody down on the field like Mark Hadley. He's played a heck of a game and with all the adversary that he's been up against.
Well, he certainly got drilled that time. And if Munson's lifting weights, that's kind of a scary thought, because if I can find him here, he's already 6 foot 200 pounds as a junior.
Eric in the lift-a-thon this year lifted in the bench press 330 plus, and some of the other boys were saying, well, he had a sore shoulder. He should have gone about 356. We're talking about a 16-year-old junior now that's bench pressing well over 300 pounds.
I think maybe that's one of the things that's changed a lot over the last 10 years, is that man for man, high school football teams are bigger and stronger, a lot stronger than they were 10 years ago.
Well, they sure are. We've always had the same size kids, but just the strength of the individuals today is unbelievable. And it's the weight training. It's the programs that they do in the off season as well as the on season that just put them together. That 180 pounds or 190 pounds is a heck of a lot more solid than it was 10 years ago.
Hadley ran off the field under his own power, but it's still 4th down, and Tuggle will be in punt formation. Mustangs coming after it. Munson almost got a hand on it. He's playing himself quite a second half, and Mustangs kind of get a break that the ball didn't hit Kopp or Kalinsky in the foot. They should get away from that football if they're not going to catch it, but they'll retain possession. It'll be 1st and 10 Mustangs on their own 25-yard line, I think.
Situation there, Joe, where the defensive back, the receiver actually, the punt receiver, was kind of shaded, or not really shaded, but blocked from view of the ball by one of the blockers that was going to come back to block once he caught the ball. The blocker got a little bit too deep, and everybody had to get out of the way in a hurry.
Knight has it 1st and 10. Mustangs up 27-zip. 3:39 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Give goes inside. Springman, the ball carrier. Kurt Johnson, the ball carrier. He picks up a couple. Give him 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Good shot of the Mustang huddle. Dan Knight stepping in and calling the play. And Bill Frakes, our spotter, is going to help us out on numbers now. Pewitt gets the call. Tries to slide by Sherrod. The big linebacker puts the helmet on him.
Joe, Bill Frakes, our spotter, and I were kind of doing a little isolation. We don't have an isolation camera, but so we're kind of doing it on our own. And this time we were isolating on Nick Roush the last 2 plays, and he has just driven the nose guard for Battle Creek Central, their top defender, according to Coach Knight, right into the backfield on both plays.
So Roush dominating the line of scrimmage, at least his man on 3rd and 3, and Knight will roll right. Step up, pick up the 1st down, and get tripped up. Scott Dull, the defensive end over there to make the tackle, as Knight put on a little nifty move to split two defenders to give himself some running room to pick up that first down.
Boy, Dan Knight's playing like a real experienced quarterback now. Of course, he is an experienced quarterback. You know, we're in the 8th game of a 9-game season, and the defenders had everybody covered. He makes a couple of moves and gets that big first down.
Mustangs dominating the football, but not on that particular play. Pewitt, the ball carrier, and he's wrapped up by Brian Canfield, a junior at 6'1", 170 pounds. Clock moving at 1:39 to play in the third quarter. Pewitt checks out. Mustangs bring Warren Bennett in. He's a senior, 5'10", 152 pounds. And he gets the call. And not a whole lot of running room.
No, Warren's been kind of had a hard luck whole career at Portage Central. He's been injured 3 or 4 times. Real high coming off the 9th grade team and then again off the JV team. But Warren's just had just a lot of different types of injuries and has not had a lot of playing time.
He'll get his chance tonight in his last home football game. 3rd and 6. And this time Johnson gets the call, and he drives up close to that first down. Tuggle has to bring him down.
Well, we can hear those hits all the way up here, and you think sometimes the defenders, or you think all the time the defenders are supposed to be the hitters, but when Kurt Johnson was carrying the ball on that, I think that the Bearcat defender felt like he was receiving the hit rather than dishing it out.
Now, Johnson certainly makes you feel it when he runs into you. It's 4th and 1. Mustangs with the double tight end formation. Jim Trumbley, number 89, is one of those tight ends. We haven't called his name too much before, as Johnson gets the first down across the 50.
Boy, that's a credit to the offensive line again. Battle Creek brought everybody up in there, pulled their linebackers up real tight. They're trying to stop that 1-yard plunge type situation. The offensive line really blew them back off the 1 yard. Kurt gets that plus another 2 on his own.
And that should be the last play of the third quarter. I don't think they're going to get this off, and they don't. So we've played 3 quarters of football here, and Portage Central leads at 27-0. Mustangs well on their way to their 6th victory of the season, and about to go 7-2 again, assuming that they can beat a team next week, Holland West Ottawa, that is yet to taste victory this season.
Well, we've got to keep it up, Joe. We talk about Holland West Ottawa not winning a ball game. The last 3 times that Portage Central played them, Holland West Ottawa was about even Steven at 4-4 each time, and they made a winning season out of beating Portage Central.
Well, that coach is no longer there, John, so that may or may not happen. But we've still got a quarter left to play here, and while I don't think Battle Creek Central can come back and win this game, they could certainly come back and score a couple touchdowns and make things interesting if the Mustangs get careless. 1st and 10, the ball resting on the 50-yard line. Mustangs have it. Dan Knight still the quarterback. And he'll give it to Bennett, who looks for running room and slides down to the 45. Actually, Kurt Johnson, 32 and 22. 34 now. Letcher comes in for 32 Johnson, so maybe things will get a little easier for me, John.
Boy, yeah, it might right now. You get all those numbers mixed up like that. And, of course, it's all quick opener type things. The veer, the inside veer is what we call it.
Letcher is the man at the bottom of your picture of the 2 running backs. So Bennett gets the call and slides through and picks up the first down before Sherrod comes over from that linebacker spot to tackle it.
Joe, I'd like you to watch if they run this same formation again, and all the people at home too, the line of scrimmage. I don't see a 3rd back anywhere. I see the 2 backs and then Danny Knight, which actually makes 3, but I don't see any wide receiver off the line of scrimmage. It's almost like everybody's right up there on the line of scrimmage. They're telling them they're going to go right at them.